We've all heard the old saying, can't get there from here. Now, that might be humorous when you stop to ask for directions from an old farmer along some remote back road somewhere, but it's no laughing matter for your users, especially when getting there or not is the difference between you getting the online order or not, or whatever your online goals happen to be. In this section, we're going to explore the concept and the problems with seams and what it means to be seamless with your online programs. Now that we've covered narrative in the human realm and usable in the computer realm of human-computer interactions, we're going to stay in that computer realm and talk about a key, but sometimes, or actually often, very hidden dynamic of interactive systems. And that's the problem of what I refer to as seams. And the seams are often created by silos in your organization or silos in your development effort. So, does this silo picture here look familiar? Especially the labels that I've put on them? Whether you work in a large organization with a number of different divisions and departments, or if you work in a small one where you may outsource a lot of the work that you see on this slide, or if you're a one-person show where you do much of the work yourself, the process of keeping all of these systems integrated and consistent can be truly challenging. And that's what this whole process of seamlessness is intended to take a real critical look at. In the science of HCI, seamlessness demands that all of your systems allow users, again, always about the users, that it allow users easy movement across any program, any technology, any service that you might make available to them. And that might include the web, email, apps, phone, the call center, your sales team, order tracking, anything, everything. Any friction, any barriers, any speed bumps between any of those silos means you're going to lose users. All of those are exits. You're going to lose business, you're going to lose sales, your costs are going to be higher, and you're generally going to create a lot of hassle for everyone, for the user as well as for your own internal people. Another challenge is that these barriers, these seams, for our users are, in most cases, invisible to us. You're going to have a really hard time identifying where these seams are unless you actively go and look for them. Now, users may encounter multiple websites, or they may receive different emails from you for different purposes and from different sources. Or the seams may appear when our Salesforce says one thing and our catalogs say another, or when the left hand of social media doesn't know what the right hand of our call center is doing. The list goes on and on. There's all different ways that seams might appear and how users might encounter them. You see, our users, and of course these are potential customers or actual customers, they're going to enter your online space through any one of a number of those silos. And they're going to try and move around at random. They're going to decide what path they're going to take. You can't control that. Now, you may try very hard to provide specific pathways through any of those online or offline resources. But again, you don't get to decide. All those pesky users are going to make up their own minds. So making those paths seamless removes the walls, the speed bumps, the dead ends, the locked doors, and it removes one of the most common reasons that people will quit and leave. Now, there actually are two primary reasons that people leave, that go away. The two primary reasons why you might lose them. One is they're not supposed to be there in the first place. They somehow clicked the wrong link, or they misunderstood where they were going, or for whatever reason they got there and they really don't belong there, and they're going to leave because they notice, they recognize that, and you don't want those people there anyway. The second one are these seams. They get stuck or blocked by a seam, by a bump, by a locked door, by some way that they can't get from here to there, or when they do get from here to there, what they're seeing doesn't make sense anymore, or you've completely lost their cognitive flow in their attempts to navigate through the stuff that you're presenting them. Now, here is a short list of seams. Probably experienced some or many of these on your own when you've been online doing your own thing. And you may even be aware of some of these in your own systems. So for example, the call center may not have any idea of what's going on the web. Your printed materials, catalogs, brochures, whatever, may not point to the right place, may not have the right links in them. And of course, printed, that's a problem because it's easy to update a website very quickly. But printed materials, you can't update them every time something changes. So there may be expiration dates about offers or other marketing or sales things you have going on that dates may be inconsistent. The emails that you send out send people to a generic homepage instead of to a specific landing page that talks to whatever the email presented. The sales team may have different pricing or different information than the website shows, and that's going to be very frustrating for your users and very frustrating for your salespeople as well. Social media may have old stuff in it that's outdated. They may be pointing to offers or promotions or certain actions that simply don't exist anymore. That'll send people away in a hurry. Still surprising to me now the number of times I run upon a website that has no way to contact the organization or the company or the individual that's hosting the site. No phone number, no contact us, no email. Always astounds me when that happens. Also, in some product materials, there may be references to support information or help or some other guidance, and those links may be outdated or broken. And there are countless others. So, all of those individual systems that I listed, and again, many, many more, all those touch points can, on their own, individually, have all the right characteristics. And they might even exhibit all the qualities that I've described and that I will describe in the workshop and the academy. They may be useful, they may have a great user experience, they may be usable, and they may fit well in the needs and interests of your target. They may be bug-free, and they may operate at great speed and performance. And we'll cover more of those as we go forward. You may have invested a lot in making sure all of those are optimized and fine-tuned and working wonderfully. But if those islands of optimized materials don't talk to each other and they don't smoothly allow users to move where they want to go, then all your investment, all your effort in making all those islands excellent, all those efforts are for naught. And what a waste is that? Why put all that effort into those if they don't communicate and don't provide users a seamless transition from one to another? Life is already too complicated and messy. Don't make users try to navigate your mazes, because they won't. You'll lose them, maybe forever. So why is this important? Paying attention to those seams and removing them is critical for a variety of reasons. As I mentioned, most seams are invisible. But if your users are finding them, and that's hidden too, it's just going to show up as poor results. You're not going to be hitting your goals, and you're not going to know why. Now, in some cases, or possibly in many cases, you or someone on your team or a trusted partner have invested a lot in those well-designed silos. And again, they may work great alone, but you're wasting your investments if you're not making sure that that optimization effort goes across all those silos and not just within the silos. Now, seams usually mean people leave, but people might really need something, in which case it means they're going to put extra effort into finding what they want. If they get stuck, they're going to email you, they're going to call, they're going to create support costs for you. Your cost of doing business with them, of either keeping them or retaining them, is going to be higher if they have problems and they need help getting through all this. And I've seen this happen too. Seams can create a lot of internal problems, create internal conflict. Who's on first? Is this my problem or yours? Who's to blame? Who's responsible for making sure that this works? If I've got a silo here and a silo there and the pathway between them is not working, whose responsibility is it to fix that? That's where some of these internal conflicts can come from. And just like with usable and many of the other principles I've shared here, when you have seams, you're not doing the right thing for the people that you're supposed to be serving. So in order to do the right thing, eliminate those speed bumps, eliminate those barriers to your user success. And again, as I mentioned, those seams are all exits. They're all ways for people to leave and go away and never come back. So here's what you need to know to make sure that your systems are seamless. First of all, get familiar with your systems. All of them, any that touch users, and learn from where the entry, exit, and transition points are, and do whatever research, analysis, gathering of data, direct user research that you need to do to find out how people are moving around in them so you can better understand where those seams are. Once you have that all mapped out, it's going to help you understand better user pathways, different use cases, and even to a large extent look over the shoulder of key users. Whatever it takes to make sure that you can map that out and really understand what those pathways are is going to go a long way towards removing these seams and making your users happier and reaching your goals. Now, you also need to uncover content or offers or any other elements that potentially span multiple islands or silos. So again, those phone numbers, contact emails, offers, pricing, the list goes on and on. In many cases, when you put those elements out there, they're going to have to be included in a number of different touch points, a number of different silos, and making sure they're consistent is going to be really essential. And again, as always, that'll help you find out where those seams are and how you're going to find them. And as I've mentioned numerous times before, figure out who else in your organization that needs to participate in this. The people in charge of the silos are the ones that are going to not only best identify where the potential seams might be, but they're going to be responsible for removing those seams when the time comes. And then finally, technology is often a source of seams because we have all these different platforms and systems and apps and widgets and stuff that we try to make work together, and sometimes they don't. And so understanding what those APIs are, what the programming interfaces are, and actively testing them and validating them will make sure that your technology is not creating hidden seams that you're not aware of. Now, getting rid of seams is going to, like these others, is going to be a game changer if they're presenting problems for your users right now. Why subject your users to these problems? Why make them hassle? Why give them reasons for exiting? Remove that frustration, make sure that they're comfortable, make sure they can find where they need to go. So consider this. Your biggest competition may not be the other company that makes similar or alternative products and services to yours. Now, the risk of traditional competitors getting your customers is always there, but in fact, it's secondary. Actually, your primary competitive risk is always about competition for your prospects' attention. There are many, many, many more things competing for their attention than your direct competitors. One of the fastest ways to lose that user attention is in the seams. The professional agony that you experience when your customers won't engage with you online points to the source of that agony. You're not keeping their attention. You're not successfully sustaining their time and their interest. If you solve the problem of the seams, you will remove many of the reasons that they leave to consider alternative products or services, or go play with their kids, or go read the newspaper, or go back to work, or any of the other things that is competing for their attention. You close the exit doors that they've been using all along. There are so many distractions in our world today. The real competition is user attention and distraction. Then don't give them any opportunity to respond to those distractions. And again, this whole process of seems what I consider tragic. Tragic because you and your teams may put a tremendous amount of effort into your own local realm, web, social media, sales, whatever, and make it all work perfectly. And then that effort and that excellence is for naught if people can't get from one of those wonderful islands to the next one.